Hello, everyone. Welcome back to ADP. We are so thrilled to be back with you. And we have what at least Brandon and I think is a very fun show. Did I say funny? I didn't mean to say funny. We have a fun show planned. We are on the Brandon baby countdown clock. I don't think this is going well. You're not having the baby. Your wife is having. I should bring you into the visual to see. There's Brandon. Hey. We'll be right back after this intro.
This is another Disney podcast production.
Oh my goodness.
There you go.
Wow.
There you go.
That was impressive. The funny thing is, like, usually when you do the intro, until we get to like this is another Disney podcast, like I'm doing something because I know I'm not on camera. So when you brought me on camera this time, I was like, hello.
Well, now you're completely frozen. At least there you go. Now you're back. So
yeah, my Wi-Fi is awful.
So let it go.
Let it go.
Yeah, man. So I mean, I know you've said it, but it's probably not any day now. We're down to hours. Yes.
It's yeah, we may have days. Like,
okay.
Worst case scenario, Tuesday she will be here, but it could happen. We're recording this on Wednesday. If you're listening on this Friday, so a couple days when you hear this, it could happen at any point. So this weekend is looking like go time.
I like it.
Yeah,
baby boom. The
baby boom.
COVID baby boom.
The COVID baby boom. That's right.
I guess you would still be considered a part of that.
Yeah, I guess the tail end, if you will. Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen you. How was vacation?
Oh my gosh, we are in love with the Tennessee mountains.
That's good.
It was fantastic.
Nice. I enjoyed the pictures and the videos that came my direction.
Yes, most of the ones I sent you though were us at the beach.
That's true.
We have a co-friend that is in I don't know. He's in a band, but they play anything. They're called Brass Wind, and they have like a horn section, and then of course they have rhythm section, and like they're just really good. I did some video work for them, and since like he's a really good friend, I was like, well, I guess I'll just be a groupie, and meaning that I can still go to your show without you paying me to do some work. So I've been to a couple of them because we can ride our bikes down to the beach, and it's been fun. And then I remember the first night I sent you a video, you were like, awesome. Who is that?
Well, I mean, I haven't seen those people. When did we leave the beach?
I know, 1987.
10 years. 10 years. Yeah. I haven't even seen those people. So I was confused. I forgot I forgot you lived at the beach. So you sent me the text. It was like, what do you do after driving 10 hours? You go to the beach. And I was like, oh, cool. They drove from like Tennessee to like the Outer Banks of North Carolina. I forgot that you actually live at the beach.
Nope. I took a 15-minute bike ride and went to the boardwalk and had some amazing crab dip at Chick's Cafe and some adult beverages and had a good time with some friends. It was basically my way of saying, like, I've been with my family for 7 days. Bye. No, it was probably the best family vacation we've ever had to date. It was that amazing.
Awesome. Well, welcome back.
So we have to apologize to people because we said that we were going to start like our the perfect day at each park, and since we're on baby watch, we're like, let's just wait because we may need to give Brandon a few weeks to figure out what a new life with another human in their house looks like.
Correct.
So we wanted to, so fittingly enough, in Disney fashion, they have announced, well, not even announced, there's just been several fantastic news stories. If you can tell by my laugh, some of them are very comical, very fun, because we love to pick. And then some of them are bizarre. I mean, I get the correlation. We'll get there in a minute. But yeah, lots of interesting stuff to talk about. Game-changing stuff to talk about.
Lots of interesting stuff, and lots of it that affects a lot of your experience at Walt Disney World, right? So it's not just like a parade's coming back or a fireworks show has changed time. This is stuff that'll definitely impact you. But the question is, when will it impact you?
Well, we're going to talk about that in next week's episode. We're actually going to talk about so hood ornament here. We're actually going to talk about what to expect in like for the rest of the year of 2022 at your favorite Florida parks. So that'll be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Some of it's kind of obvious. Some of it is going to be some hypothesizing.
Hypotheses.
Anyway,
yeah, and we're actually going to do that show. We're not going to promise it this time and not do it, folks. That show will actually come to you next week.
Yep. Because we're going to film it right after this.
Because we're going to film it right now.
We're planning ahead. We have no clue what we're doing, yet we're planning ahead at the same time.
Correct.
It's going to be good stuff. All right, I think we should jump in. Do you want? What do you want to? Where do you want to start? Like, I mean, usually the beginning is a really good place to start. This is just a hodgepodge of.
This is a hodgepodge. So the thing I want to start with, and if anybody's listened to this show, you know why I want to start with this, because it's my favorite attraction at Walt Disney World. It is the attraction that when I did not live at Walt Disney World, or I don't live at Disney World, that would be super cool. I live in Winter Garden, close to Disney World. When I did not live there, people would say, hey, if you could fly to Disney and you could get on a bus, you could go to the Magic Kingdom, get on one ride it, go back home, what would it be? And my answer was always the same. It would never change. Oh, you ruined it. You ruined it for everyone. It's not the Haunted Mansion. It's the
my bad.
Splash Mountain. So we got some great news coming out of Disney. This is breaking. I think it just came out.
Yeah, today.
10 minutes ago. It wasn't on Blog Mickey, our favorite site, earlier today. So Disney announced that they are going to share more details on Princess and the Frog attraction. I don't know why they couldn't say Splash Mountain. And they're going to reveal the new look for the ride and for Princess Tiana at the Essence Festival of Culture 2022.
Never heard of it. The good news is...
Never heard of it.
Because there is good news in this breaking news, and that is that festival is next week. It's basically it starts.
It's actually Friday.
Tomorrow. The 30th through the 3rd. So by the time you hear this, you probably will have seen this. So the exciting fact of this is clearly what? That we're going to get some information, because the actress who did the voice actually I had an oops a while ago saying that the attraction would open in 2024, which I don't know that that's that big of a mystery, but as long as they've taken with Tron, I don't know.
That's what I was going to say. I wouldn't be throwing any dates out there with the 4.5 years that it's taken to do Tron. Yeah.
Dangerous. So now we've talked at length about what you think, because this is your favorite ride. I have no doubt they're going to do a fantastic job, and we are huge fans of this movie. The music is incredible, the dancing, the story was really good. It's one to me, another one of those, how does this film not get enough attention? Well, replacing Splash Mountain, albeit the history of that it has, is still a pretty monster. I mean, they make t-shirts about the 3 mountains at Magic Kingdom. I'm just saying. And this is one of them. Not every ride gets their own t-shirt. Just going to throw that out
there. Agreed. I have that t-shirt as well. And I don't know if they're going to have to change it, or that t-shirt becomes a historical relic, because maybe it won't be called a mountain anymore. It'll be called the Bayou or something like that. But yeah, I'm super excited about this attraction. I mean, if it comes anywhere close to what the artistic rendering looks like, I mean, man, it's going to be something cool. And I hope that, Splash Mountain, most of the decoration or the theming of the attraction is inside the mountain itself. Right. The rendering of this makes the outside look amazing. It's like, it looks like the big hill you come out of a giant tree in the bayou that has a ship up in it. So I really hope that this rendering is accurate, because it will make that part of the park look super cool.
Yeah. And I feel like we should know this, but I'm going to go on a limb and say, if it is not the longest, it is one of the longest attractions at Walt Disney World. And so, I mean, you can't say they have a clear palette doesn't really make sense, or an empty drawing board. You can't say that they have that blank slate, blank canvas, because there is a track and like the ride mechanics aren't going to change, but man, they have a lot of rooms to do things with, and they're not very small rooms. So I'm excited to see what they can put together, and hopefully, like they say in Jurassic Park, no expense will be spared. Isn't that what it says?
Spared, no expense. Yes.
Yes, there it is.
Yes. So I agree. And if you look inside of Splash Mountain, there's already a lot of trees and a lot of woods, which is going to help them. They're not going to have to completely redo entire scenes. They're just going to have to add that classic like bayou touch, like Spanish moss on the trees, and make it a little darker in there. Right now, it's like super bright in a lot of the rooms. So you gotta make it kind of spooky, maybe add some fog in there. Spanish moss, little fireflies. So I'm super excited to see what they are going to do with it. The bummer of it, obviously, is that sometime this year, this ride is going to go down. I would imagine it would be sometime in August, beginning of September, maybe after Labor Day is when I would imagine this thing would be closed to start the refurbishment, because that's kind of their off season. So if you're coming to Disney this summer, make sure you get on Splash Mountain, because it probably will be a pretty piece until you can get on it again.
Yeah. Okay. So let's break this down a little bit, because I have some questions. I'm sure they've started building things for this. Like, I can't imagine that they haven't been working on this for quite some time, like physically making things. So I'll ask a question, and by leading it with, my fear is ... Are they creating things to where they're going to literally pull up the animatronics that are there and replace it, and then paint and add some cool lighting effects? Or do you think that other than the track, they will clean this slate and really create something new? Because I'm fearful that it's going to be more of the first one. I'm hopeful that it is going to be a mix. And then I have 4% confidence that they'll just wipe the slate clean and do something completely fresh and new. What do you think?
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you. If we've looked at the history of refurbishments here in the last 10 years with Disney, aside from building new lands, most of the refurbishment has just been touching up things that are already existing, making the paint different, making the theming look different, but it's not a complete overhaul of the actual attraction. So my hope in my heart is that if they're going to take something away as classic as Splash Mountain, that they are going to completely, like you said, aside from the track, they are going to wipe it completely clean and then go ahead and just completely redo the whole thing. Do I think they'll do that? Probably not, because it could take, it'll take 5 years to redo all of that. So I think we're going to get some sort of mixture of taking out stuff and using some existing stuff just to expedite the refurbishment, because I mean, Tron's taking so long to build. The murmur on the message boards is that everything takes so long with Disney. By the time that it gets around, the excitement's gone from it. So I can't see that they're shutting down one of their pillar mountains for 3 or 4 years. I just can't see it happening.
Yeah, I'm with you, because Tron, for me, when I first saw it in Asia, and I was like, man, why don't we get something like that? Boom, we get it. It's taken so long that now I'm like, I'm sure APs will get a preview weekend. Like, that's one of those things like Galaxy's Edge that I would have been like, I will fly down and make a trip out of that. Now at this point, I'm like, I'll just ride it whenever. I've waited this long. Like, what's the point of? It's kind of lost its grandeur for me.
I agree. I mean, I was excited about it being part of the 50th anniversary celebration. That's going to go until next spring. And I mean, we're still, yes, they're running test trains down the track, and they're at night it lights up now and it looks super cool. But I still don't think it's close to getting riders on it. So I mean, I live here, and I remember when we were talking, I was like, this will be an opening day attraction for me. Like, I'll go stand in line to ride it. And now it's kind of like, I'll get if they do virtual queue, I'll try to get a virtual queue at some point.
Not that it's any less cool. It's just kind of lost. It's just like, well, good grief. Like, it's taken so long now that I'm just like, I don't know, like poo. Oh, bother. I don't know, man. Like, not, I mean, it's going to be fantastic. My fear is it's going to be about the length of Mine Train, and then it's going to, it's going to be like, my fear is it's going to be 4 seconds longer than Goofy's coaster. And you're going to be like, wow, okay. All right, let's look at our grand list of news. The next one I have is, okay, this one's fun. So if you, first of all, let me start by saying this. If you want somebody to follow on social media, he's definitely worth a follow. And that is Zach Ridley. He's an Imagineer with the Disney company. And I don't know how to say this. He seems more connected to culture. I don't want to, like, that's my way of saying, like, he seems a lot younger than all the other ones, or maybe all the other ones are just more like old school, but he's very like in tune to like social media and sharing things. With that being said, I feel like the stuff that like makes the news for him is very bizarre. And so let's take a look at today, for example. And this is not just a today thing, right, Brandon? This is like a pattern.
No, this is definitely a pattern.
So Zach Ridley provides the World Celebration floor update. Let me say it again. The World Celebration. I can't even talk. The World Celebration floor update.
The update on the floor.
Now, this isn't weird for him at all. Let me tell you why, people. That when they were building, what is the new shops that replaced it? Wow. I have another drink.
The shops that replaced it.
That replaced it. It did.
Creation shop.
Yeah, Creation Shop. When that was all being built, he was taking pictures of like the wall and like paint swatches. And these were like things that he shared, and people were like, they made news on Disney sites and Disney vlogs. And I just am like, and people are like, wow, look at this. And I'm all like, it's a corner of the ceiling, basically. And now we've got the floor. I know I'm being very cynical, but it's just kind of like, how about you tell us when it's opening and what we can expect? Like that, exactly. I'd be super fun.
Exactly.
I don't understand this. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong.
It's a whole story.
It's cool.
It's cool. It's a whole story. The funny thing is, on his Instagram,
three paragraphs.
There's like 6-7 pictures of the floor of this area of the of Epcot. So I mean, it's super cool. They're very hexagonical. Is that a word? Hexagons, maybe?
Yeah.
Octagons? No, I don't think they have 8 sides, but yeah, he makes news, and he goes viral for the craziest things. Like he posted all of this information when Guardians of the Galaxy opened up, like of ride vehicles and like actual things inside the attraction itself. People were like, oh, that's kind of cool. He posts this picture of the floor viral. Everyone loves it.
2,300 like, and you know, it's quite special when you end a 3-paragraph Instagram post with, I just love seeing these materials and textures come together, but honestly, you had me at Custom Foundry. Like 3 hand clap emojis.
Custom Foundry. And I got to give it up. We got to, pick a little bit on our good friend Matthew, who was on the show with us and comes on the show occasionally. But Matthew loves him some Zach Ridley.
Yes, he does.
He will send me texts of like, check out this, check out. He showed me the mural that's inside the what's that place called? The Connections Cafe.
Yes.
I think is what it's called. Yeah. He showed me the mural when Zach shared that. But yeah, I mean, he shares some cool stuff, but he also shares some random stuff that everyone loves.
Yeah. I mean, I guess this is a pattern that, like, the only thing that piques my interest about this is and this is going to sound weird to say too, it is a pattern that also has some sprinklings. We're making up words this entire show of the manhole covers at Epcot that look like Spaceship Earth. So there is a little bit of that mixing, and like, I just love those manhole covers, which is a weird thing to like at a theme park.
It's super weird.
But welcome to Disney fandom. This is what it's all about.
Welcome
when your Imagineers post paint colors and metalworks, then you know it's a different breed.
Welcome to hanging.
So I just thought that was interesting yet comical, but goes right along with like the stuff that he posed.
Exactly.
And like, somebody out there is super excited about this place opening so they can see this floor. I am not one of them.
I mean, I will walk over this floor and forget totally to look down because I'm heading towards Moana Journey of Water, or I'm heading towards, Club Cool or something. But hey,
many adult beverages will be spilled on this floor. That's
exactly. Maybe it'll look cooler in person.
I mean, it's definitely cool looking, but it's a weird thing to post a story about. Progress continues across the expansive world celebration. Future home to amazing gardens and spaces. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I just was like, that probably took an hour to write.
I think so.
And it's about the floor of a place that's opening.
Yeah.
I think restaurants should copy this.
I agree.
Like, I think somebody should be building their Mexican restaurant, like in Orlando, and start sending pictures of like the plaster going up on the walls, the ceiling fans being installed. Like, that's the same thing, right? I'm not crazy.
Yeah. Like John Smith shared men's bathroom tile mosaic for El Guapo's Mexican Fiesta.
Am I excited about this? Yes, because you know what it means? Epcot will finally not be under construction. So there is something to get excited about, because one day that will be a true story.
What do you think will be done first? Epcot's expansion or the new Splash Mountain?
Epcot. And Splash Mountain could also be done before Tron.
That's true. That's true. Tron will never open. They'll just change the light colors.
Which is literally running vehicles on the track, and I still think Splash Mountain has a chance to beat it.
It's pretty close. We'll have to keep an eye on it for sure. The fun stories.
So there's been some Brightline news in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, there has been some Brightline news. Now, for
kind of surprising.
So definitely surprising for anybody who doesn't know what the Brightline train was. It's a high-speed train that's located here in Florida. It was going to bring you from South Florida and other locations in Florida to Central Florida, aka Disney, and give you another transportation option to get to the parks, to get to the resort area. Well, just this week, Brightline, well, I guess it was Disney really, announced that they no longer want Brightline, and they're not waiting around for them to finish deciding whatever they're going to decide, and there will no longer be a Brightline station at the Disney Springs area. Now, at first, this sounds like it could be bad news, right? Everybody was excited. Magical Express went away. This was another way that they could get from the airport to Disney for a nominal fee. So now it's not happening to Disney Springs, but the story indicates that it is actually they're going to do a station to the Orange County Convention Center, which is about 15 minutes by car away from Disney. And they're going to do one to the old Disney Springs area, but not on Disney property. So again, much closer. Now, we thought this was a bad thing until we kind of discussed it before we started the show today. And I think we decided this was kind of a better thing, right, Dave? Like this sounds better than it really is.
Well, I mean, we went from Disney cancels Brightline stop, which is a pretty hard title. Like, it's like, dang, you could have done, like, imagine the ride share or money that you could be saving by hopping on the quick train that goes from MCO to a station at Disney Springs. But now, like, when you read the article, it says that, like you said, there's going to be one at the Orange County Convention Center.
The OCCCC.
Yeah, the at OCCCCC. But is there another one that's going to be near Disney Springs, or are they saying that is near Disney Springs?
The way I read it is that there's going to be another one near Disney Springs on Disney property, because to me, I mean, if you live here, the Orange County Convention Center is not near Disney. It's not near, you're still 15 minutes out. So the way the story reads, it just says
here's the language.
Located
an alternative station.
Springs.
Yes.
I don't know what that means.
So I'll read this. In addition to the airport, one new station will be located at the convention center, and an alternative station will be located near the original Disney Springs planned site, albeit not on Disney-owned land. Okay, so that's where I wanted to actually take this, you're right, and spin this in a positive way. So here's the thing. If you were one that usually did any kind of ride share from the airport to wherever you were going at Disney, this at least will significantly lower your ride share fare, because it's much, if we're adjacent to Disney property, and I use my air quotes, that's 25, depending on traffic, 30 minutes closer to
for sure.
The Disney area. And the other win for this is as somebody who typically stays off property, this is also a win that you're not having to land on Disney property and then have to figure out an Uber from Disney. Not that that's any harder, but it kind of feels like, oh, I'm not really part of the bubble, but I landed here and now I'm going to just get my Uber. So I kind of like that it's close enough and it kind of fits everybody. I don't know. I feel like I'm making that up, but
no. And I think you're 100% right. Now, if you take them to the Orange County Convention Center and somewhere close to Disney, but not Disney, then you can pull in the Universal crowd. So that's gonna open up more revenue for them, because obviously
that's a good point.
Everybody heads towards wherever and disperses from there, as opposed to everybody just jumping on this line to go to Disney. So I think it just opens up the options for people to take that Bright line. And like you said, but when you get to that station, just jump on an Uber. It's going to cost you $10 instead of 40. So
that's huge.
It's huge. Yeah. So I think it's positive. It's a negative story that sounded negative, but it actually has some positives. And then again, there's it cuts out the construction at Disney, right? There's enough
that's
construction everywhere else at Disney. Like, why would we want to shut down a huge portion of Disney Springs? So,
and it's interesting to think, you can't help but wonder the ins and outs of it. Like, was Disney having to pay a portion of this stop? I would imagine if you want them to come to your spot, there has to be some money to exchange hands. And maybe just Disney was like, maybe the number wasn't right. Because then in what way, like, people that are coming to Disney are already coming to Disney, whether that stop is there or not. That's probably what somebody in the back of the boardroom was like, hey, Frank, I think people are going to come whether it's here or not. And everybody at the board table is like, that's a good idea. Bob knows what he's talking about.
That's Chapek. Let's keep him on for 3 years.
Yes. Oh, I don't want to talk about that. Okay. Now for my probably favorites. Reaction here. APs were back this week. They came back for sale.
They did,
but it wasn't all APs. It was basically just for Florida residents and DVC. So I mean, that at least brought in a whole different crowd.
Yeah.
And come to find out, as soon as you try to purchase it, it didn't work. And about 20 minutes after that story broke, and when I say broke, I hit Twitter, and there was like 6 or 7 stories in a row of some APs are back, like WDW APs and no, this was another giant glaring oops from Disney. Now, I want to shed some light on this. This happens all the time with tons of companies releasing tons of product. Well, like, I think of more releasing tons of products. Like, being a big techie, a lot of when announcement dates are coming, there's usually some retailer that accidentally like puts it up on their site for sale for like 8 seconds, and somebody screenshots it and is like, oh, this is the day that it's being released. This is how much it's going to cost, and all the specs and everything breaks before they actually even announce the product. So this happens quite frequently. With Disney, it happens a lot more frequently than most other places.
When you say a lot frequently, it happens a lot. Disney,
a lot frequently.
There's like one guy in like the intern department, like, that's just sitting waiting to hit the button, and the guy is, they're like, hey, on July 1st we're going to introduce. The intern just smacks the button, and they're like, no, Jim, and Jim's gone. Like, they bring in a new intern to fix it, but
Jim needs to have the keyboard taken away.
Jim needs to have the keyboard taken away. I thought it was hilarious. Like, I text you right away, and I was like, look at this, man. APs are back for sale. Like, because I know you don't have an AP right now and you're out of state. So like, there's no option for you to get one right now. So it's like, hey, they're back. Then we dove into it a little more, and only the resident ones and the DVC. So obviously you couldn't get those, but we were super excited about it. People on Facebook were super excited about it. Twitter was all a buzz. And then literally I answered like a phone call and went back to Twitter and looked, and it was like, breaking, AP sales are halted again. And I'm like, What in the world is going on over there at Disney?
Man. They need some good press. Can we just say that? They need some good press. So part of me wants to think, okay, usually when this kind of stuff happens, when it's all put together, that means it's coming back sooner than later. I really want to believe that, but I don't think that's true at all.
I don't think
I still think it's end of the summer.
I think it's again like the same time maybe that we shut down Splash Mountain right after the Labor Day rush.
Yeah.
I think it's when they're gonna maybe open up, and I think it'll be tiered again. The passes that were available for 12 minutes the other day are the first ones that are going to come back. The Florida passes and then they'll open up the Incredi Pass for out of state people. Maybe, fall time.
I don't know. Was it you or I? I mean, was it you or Matthew that I was talking to? I feel like it was one of you. If not, I'll just go with it. I feel like one of you said, "Oh, they pulled it because they accidentally meant to raise the prices."
That's right. I think that was Matthew, and I think he texted me the same thing. But yeah, it's always funny. They're like, "Oh, that's last year's price. That's July of 2020 during COVID." Yeah. Get that out of there.
They forgot to add the $718 that they wanted to add to the lowest tier pass before they reopened it.
Correct. It'll now cost you.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and part of me wants to believe that like this was a definite oops, but it was a definite oops. It just seemed like, I mean, as much as people want that to come back, that's the one thing that you're like, Jim can't be at the computer like until 3 weeks after it's announced.
Correct. I think this was the test to see if Jim would, go from the internship to the full employment, and Jim is on the unemployment line because that thing
Jim might be working bright line construction now.
He might be. That's the quickest I've ever seen anything get yanked down at Disney, which is kind of funny.
Now, Brandon, there is a follow-up to a full show that we did that I know that you wanted to talk about. And that is the most exclusive Disney vacation that you could have. We have a follow-up again for those living under a rock. Would you like to hear that?
Oh, yes. So if you were with us last time, I won't say last week because it's been a couple weeks, but if you were with us last time, Dave and I very methodically went through the latest Disney I Don't Care vacation destination, vacation experience. So just to unpack it very quickly, Disney announced a private vacation package that took you to every Disney park in the world over 12 or 13 days with stops in fun cities to do fun things. So that's kind of what
24 days. Definitely 24 days.
24 days. So fun things, Egypt, Cairo, Paris, fun stuff. Well, the fun thing about this was, and the reason that we were like, Disney does not care anymore, they just want money, is that this vacation cost $110,000 per person.
Based on double occupancy.
Based on double occupancy. So, multiply that 110, that's 220. 220
for those of you that suck at math, that's a help.
For those of you who suck at math, 220,000 to enjoy this 24-day adventure. And we were like, I think we predicted like, hey.
Oh, yeah. We were like, this will sell out.
This will sell out. This is going to go on sale to Golden Oak people and then Club 33 and DVC and then the general public. Well, ladies and gentlemen.
And they actually released like how they were doing it. So if you've been on like 3 or more Adventure by Disney, you were in the first batch to reserve. Then if you'd ever been to at least once on a Adventures by Disney, then it was Golden Oak, then it was general public. Now, yes, we said beyond the shadow of a doubt this would sell out, but please tell me how quickly it sold out.
This based on what I saw on the on Blog Mickey and some other sites, this sold out within a week, and it never got to the general public.
Never made it to just normal people sales.
It to general public availability, which is, I mean, it's not mind-boggling because there's people out there that have money. We talk about Club 33. There's a waiting list, hundreds of people long to get into that. So there's people that have money, and we knew it would sell out, but I was surprised that this did not make it to the general public offering. We got to find some way to like I mean, you got to find some way to be able to like videotape this trip for Disney. Like you could film the whole thing, and that you got to find a way to get on that.
Here's what you can experience. I need to do that.
You need to do it. You need to
so yeah, not a surprise that it's sold out, but I am kind of shocked that it didn't even make it to general public.
Yeah, and I would be surprised that if it even got to the Golden Oak people.
Yeah. Wow. That's all kinds of money.
I mean, we saw that story and we were like, what? Like, I mean, we knew it would sell out. I was thinking maybe a month or a couple months, getting closer towards the trip. All right, we need some people and they're going to sell it out, but a week and not even general public. That was even shocking to me.
So there you go. Breaking news.
So there you go. Breaking news. Hope you didn't want to
$8 million for Disney. $8 million. You're welcome.
Hope you didn't want to go.
You're welcome. You guys still wanting annual passes to come back? Sorry, they make $8 million off 24-day tickets.
Exactly.
You're not that important. You are not as important as you think you are.
Your $4.99 Pixie Pass is not coming back, people.
Negative. It will come back at $8 million.
Yes,
someone will buy it.
$110,000 for a Pixie Pass.
There was some fun news, some fun Star Wars news this week. We'll call it days ago. There was breaking news as of 2 days ago. And that breaking news was Star Wars Launch Bay character meet and greets added to Genie Plus Lightning Lane. So that was on the 27th. So that's exciting. Like if you haven't heard, like that would start, Launch Bay was opening back up to what it was pre-pandemic, and you can now meet those characters, which also seems weird because aren't they adding some classic characters to actually Galaxy's Edge and breaking their own?
Yes, they're starting to have those. Yeah, they're having those. They're having those classic characters walk around, and we talked about
which I love.
People want to see. They want the nostalgia. Yeah. So yeah, but
which is cool.
This is typical Disney.
A follow up to that story. Breaking news as of today: Disney World removes upcoming Star Wars character meet and greets from the Genie Plus Lightning Lane offering.
What? Jim left the season pass internship and went to the Genie Plus internship, and Jim is now fired from that internship as well.
You know who is over top of, who's Jim's manager is?
Who's that?
Dwight Schrute.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Hands down.
I don't understand this. Like first of all, here's something that never even needed to be announced. It should have been like, oh, this is now available, and oh, look, you can do Genie Plus, or this is now available, and oh, it's not on Genie Plus. Like, there was no announcement needed, yet we found a way to make this like, oh, they're opening it, oh, it's Genie Plus, and 2 days later, oh, they're opening it, and no, we're not going to do Genie Plus. No, I don't understand. It's one of those things, right? I mean, I run into this in life so many times. It's like, I can't, and this is a business thing that, like, okay, this is my little rant, but tell me if you're with me. I run into so many things that happen, right? And a company tells me something. Okay, let's pause right there. Before that company told me that, there's a few things that happened. One, I never knew about it.
Correct.
2, I had zero expectation for it.
Correct.
And 3, it was news that I didn't know that I now know. Right? Okay.
Correct.
And then they change it or don't do it. And then I go back and I'm like, if you'd have never told me, I would have, no one would be mad. There would have never been an expectation, and it would have never been news that we would have known.
Yes, correct.
Right? It's like, can you follow these simple news, like these simple rules of like, hey, here's how to keep your customer base, your crowd, your tribe, whatever you want to call it, from getting frustrated at you. It's a really simple formula. I've never understood. I'm like, it's like, why did you offered me this thing that you've now taken away? Don't ever offer it. Just don't or surprise and delight. I worked at Apple for years, and that was one of the, I don't want to call it a core value, but I can't think of a better phrase, but it was one of those things, like, we always like to surprise and delight customers. Like, they come in and they know, like, okay, my janky computer is broken, or maybe it's missing a key, and then we put on like their return key that Jim needs to leave alone, and we replace it, and then don't charge him for it, right? It's out of warranty. Like, that's a surprise and delight moment, right? They came in knowing that, hey, I've got something wrong, and I'm going to have to pay to get it fixed. And then we turn around and be like, "Here you go, man. It's on Tim."
Yeah.
Right. And so rant over, but I just don't understand why companies do this. Like, it would have been like when they came out and it opened and you open up your app and you could have been like, "Oh, I can get a Lightning Lane Genie Plus thing for Kylo Ren. Cool."
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like, that's when you find out. Or, "Oh, bummer, they're not on Genie Plus." Okay. But there was never any expectation leading up to it. Rant over for the second time.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. The only thing that I can think of on this is that they did it and then they were like, "Well, I don't think anybody's really going to want to Genie Plus Lightning Lane that anyway. So let's take away, because there's not going to be this tremendous uproar." I mean, I haven't heard any uproar that like things are opening and there's no meet and greets at Star Wars launch bay. Like, I haven't seen that on any message boards. I haven't seen Facebook pages saying like, "Where's Darth Vader? I want to see Darth Vader." So I guess they were like, let's see if there's a buzz about it. Let's put it on there. Hey, there's not a buzz about it. Just kidding. We're going to take it off. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah. And to give you an idea,
they already had to mess up. They already had
this reopens July 17th. We're like 3.5 weeks out.
Yeah.
Again, too early, and no one cares.
No one cares.
Just stop giving me information.
I agree.
That's like, here's the thing. Here's my fear. Something's going to happen in New Orleans and the Essence conference is going to get canceled and we're not going to know anything about Splash Mountain. And if they never said anything and just surprised people, how amazing would that have been?
That's right. It starts tomorrow, but like tomorrow morning, you'll go open up Blog Mickey. You'll see update. Disney cancels announcement of Splash Mountain retheming. It's going to stay the same. Like, that's what the equivalent of this annual pass debacle and the Star Wars meet and greet Disney Plus debacle is. It's just, what else are they going to announce that they're going to take away 2 days later? And that's sometimes why we get cynical about Disney, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to get excited about things because you'll read it and you'll be like, "Oh my God, this is going to be amazing." 4.5 years later, you're like, "This could be amazing." Like, it may open. Like, I've gone to Universal and ridden Velocicoaster 14 times because it took 8 months to build. So yeah, Disney keeps us laughing. It keeps us entertained.
I feel like we should start. I feel like we need to maybe add something to our show. That at the top of every show, we list how many days it's been since Tron construction started, and it's still not open. I feel like we should add that number. I don't know what it is, but I just think it'd be funny. I know that there is a podcast out there that does that since Walt Disney World Railroad has run. And that may be well over 2,000 days by now. I'm not good at math, but it's been a long time.
All right. So let's see. Construction started on February 6th, 2018.
Oh my gosh.
Started February 6th, 2018. So we are 4 years.
Let's ask Siri.
How many days has it been since February 6th, 2018, Siri?
There you go.
Siri didn't answer me. Siri doesn't. Siri,
how many days has it been since February 26th, 2018? 1,584 days.
Okay. So today's count for today's show, ladies and gentlemen, the ADP audience out there, 1,584
days.
84 days and counting. Since Tron began construction. That is.
And I sent you a Twitter something many moons ago about that if it doesn't open this calendar year, it will officially taken longer to build than the entirety of Magic Kingdom. Correct. In 1970-ish. 78, 79.
It opened.
There you go. That's our satire show for you.
Satire show of fun.
Joking some crazy news stories, picking on Disney because we can. Because they make it so easy.
Why not?
Hey, follow Zach Ridley. Don't make a Genie Plus reservation for Star Wars Launch Bay. Sorry you missed out on your $220,000 jaunt around the world. Hit up the Essence Festival. I mean, did I cover them all yet?
And if you're looking to ride Tron, make sure you sign up for Medicare first.
That's right. And ADPs, nope. Oh, this was fun.
Fun times. Thanks for joining us, folks. Until next time.
Baby Watch 2022 with the Palms.
In full effect. Bye.
Peace.